Hi, good afternoon. My name is Lathika Pai, and I lead Project Amplify, a joint program between Microsoft and Accenture to work with social and sustainability startups to help them scale. With us today, we have Angad, who is the founder and CEO of Praan. Angad, great to see you again. How are you?
Likewise, thanks for having me. I'm doing well. How about you?
Great, congratulations. I heard you've just closed a nice round of funding from various investors. That must be really feel good emotion that you have.
Yeah, very fortunate to have great people back as I think you probably recognize it while funding round is exciting and their celebration is literally just the start of what we have to build here on. So I'm excited to have the opportunity.
Great. So, Angad, tell us about Praan and how is Praan doing today? The last time we spoke, you were looking at running a bunch of pilots with the Tata was one of the companies that you were working with. So, tell us about why you started Praan. More about the devices that you have today and how you're deploying it, and some of the early data that's coming in as a result of using Praan.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think higher level why we started while our parents' generation and older grew up with the promise of an exciting future, my generation grew up with the promise of a bleak future where the planet is doomed. So that's not a very exciting future to wake up to and work hard towards. And then I realized while I could move to another country with a cleaner environment, my friends and family would be in countries like India, where the air is getting progressively more polluted every year. And fundamentally, because there are infinite sources of air pollution, it's not possible to capture the pollutants at every source. And so we said, can we provide cleaner air to people where they are, as opposed to trying to wait 30 or 40 years till these sources are eliminated through electric vehicles and clean energy. And that was the motivation to start it. So at Praan, we build these filterless, large space air purification systems. Today, there are home personal air purifiers and HVAC systems, nothing in between. So that's where Praan falls in. And we carry out site studies. So we collect data of different real estate properties, simulate it in software, and then we understand what's the optimal solution for those real estate properties, and then implement our hardware to solve.
So, that's really fantastic because the fact that you don't have to keep changing the filters is huge, right? It's a lot of saving that companies have, and definitely air and polluted air is something that the downstream impact of breathing poor quality air has shown in terms of a lot of people's health, especially during the pandemic. So tell us some of the data that you have gathered, some of the analysis, and how has Prawn really been able to, change it for your customers?
Absolutely. So Praan still, I would say, is not at growth stage. We're still at perfecting the deployments and trying to understand trying to learn about our hardware better once it's deployed. And so we started deployments of Praan's Mark 1 product, which is our air purifier, in 2019. Since then, we've had 7 variants deployed and improved in Mumbai city. And then this year onwards, we started site studies at multiple sites. I think by February end, we would have 30 of them, trying to understand different site dynamics. And so when we've deployed Praan Mark 1 systems, one, we've understood that the impact ranges from 10 to 30% based on the airflow dynamics and pollution dynamics. And then the device efficiency consistently is not the 99% you get with the HEPA filter, it's in 83, 84%. But the fact that you're able to save that much amount of capital every year, right? So one of the schools we're working with in Delhi, asked us, um, there's a popular brand which people use in their houses here, and said, your device seems to be a little more pricier than this famous brand, and so why should I not get that brand? And the realization was that if they bought 10 devices of that brand versus Praan, they'd spend 4.5 lakhs versus 7.5 lakhs with us. But the annual cost to run those purifiers in these large spaces for them would be 23 lakhs versus with Praan it was 0. So I think that's the understanding. Once we perfect it, we'll try to tell more stories about it, let the customer speak for the product as opposed to us selling it. And so I think Praan today, as far if we can really expand to having the right team, we feel we're short staffed, and then also get our supply chain more streamlined than it is today, I think we'll move much quicker and you'll see more results.
That's very interesting. I think the point that really needs to be honed in on potential customers, like you mentioned, is the annual maintenance cost, right? I think that's big. If you are saying it's 23 lakhs plus 4, it's 27 versus 7 plus 0. So there's right there in year one itself. They've more than saved the amount that they would have paid in AMCs. And that is again, I'm sure more your sales team will start doing a better job of evangelizing and getting your customers to know. But more importantly, what do you believe as a result of, one is of course cost savings, but more importantly, what do you believe as a result of using Praan? How does the health, the quality of health increase, right? I think that's also very, very important to call out in terms of what you're doing. One is just device to device costing, more, efficient in terms of how you are treating polluted air. But tell us more about how it's going to change quality of health.
Yeah, of course. I think so. Of course, monetary side is one because that's what we're used to pitching to raise capital and to customers. But the higher end level focus for Praan is that kids should be able to go play outdoors. Right? When we travel to other countries, how is it that we are so much more energetic in the day than we are in India? Right? We're eating the same kind of food. So it's the quality of the air. So that includes particulate matter as well as the toxic gases that we breathe, and that affects one your lung capacity, that as a result affects your breathing. And so there was a recent article which came out which compared the lungs of Indian athletes to those of international athletes, and they said that Indian athletes lungs have to work 7 to 10 times harder to perform the same at the global scale because they don't have that fresh and clean air to breathe here. So step one for us is of course remove particulates. There is this notion in New Delhi that kids should not go out to play because the air is polluted. I mean, their parents' generation didn't have this problem, so why should they and the future generations, right? And then because of Microsoft support and Amplify and some of this IoT stuff that we're doing, we're trying to again remind people that hey, humans are part of nature. So with our sensor platforms, we're reminding them, hey, you should go get vitamin D3 at this spot on your property between XYZ hours. So it's the least polluted, but you get the D3 for 10 minutes, right? So all that intelligence being built in, or what's the best time to take a run or go out 15 minutes later today for a walk so you have uh, access to cleaner air. So some of those are very exciting for us, and we hope that long term we're able to map these health impacts that our technology will have.
Fantastic. My last question to you, Angad, is that, I know when we spoke last, you were in creating these various pilots in terms of being able to really engage with corporates to help them understand the value prop that Praan brought to the table. What are your plans for the next 12 to 24 months? I never think beyond that because that's a long time for a startup founder.
Yeah, no, I think 12 months is already a stretch. But I think for us, if we're very fortunate that in the past few months, since we raised capital in October actually, but since then we've seen a lot of forthcoming customer interest. So barring the one you mentioned earlier, every client has come to us and we've not gone to them. And so for us today, execution is a big challenge. If we're able to gather the right leadership, the first 20 employees will determine how successful we'll be. So that's high priority for us. Second, we've diversified manufacturing because pandemic has affected regular supply chains. So we have backups for backups now to make sure things are okay. And then we're trying to mostly manufacture everything in India. So 95% of our product is made right outside of Mumbai in a place called Ambernath. So if stage one is build a great team, second execute as many projects, third build the order book and build trust and tell the story. And I think if we're able to do that, we'll be okay.
Great, great. I think you've really thought this through. Really very happy that you're part of Project Amplify. We're here with you as Microsoft and Accenture in terms of helping you scale Praan, and really leveraging technology for you to be able to give this information back to the consumers. Good luck, and look forward to working closely with you.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye.